class! How are you today? How's your internet connection? Okay, that's good. Before we are going to start our online lesson for today, I want Sweetie to lead the prayer. Okay? Okay, so in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. So, before anything else, who can remember our online class rules? That's right. Don't talk in chorus. Yes? Raise your hands if you want to answer. Then, always listen to me, because it's difficult if you're not going to listen, and inform me if there's something wrong with the internet, with your connection at home. Do you still remember the elements of the story? Yes? Yeah, that's right, the character. Very good, Michael. The plot. Yes, that's right. Theme, very good, Anna. Message, yes, very good, Sweetie. Have you ever borrowed something and lost it? Yes, Sweetie. Oh, you borrowed something. What was it? Oh, pencil. And then what happened to it? You lost it. And what did you do? You bought a new one. And how did you feel after losing it? And oh, you didn't feel anything because it was cheap, okay? How about the others? Yes, Michael. What did you lose? Yes, something that you borrowed and then you lost it. The camera of your friend. What did you do? How did you feel after realizing that you lost the camera that you borrowed? And what's the reaction of your friend? Oh, he was angry. And then? Oh, he asked you to pay for it. So I asked you that question because our story for today is about the necklace, and it has something to do about borrowing something and losing it. So, but before we are going to read our story, we have a new topic for today. And our topic for today is about types of a plot in a short story. And before we are going to discuss our new topic, these are the things that you are going to learn at the end of the lesson. You are going to distinguish the different types of a plot of a short story. Next, compose a plot of your own story. And third is appreciate the importance of each type of plot. Explain the definition of a plot and each type. So, what is plot? In a narrative or creative writing, a plot is a sequence of events that make up a story. Whether it's told, written, filmed, or sung. The plot is the story, and more specifically, how the story develops, unfolds, and moves in time. So there are 5 elements of plot. There are exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution or denouement. Do you have any question? So the first one is exposition. At the beginning of the story, characters, setting, and the main conflict are typically introduced. So in exposition, this is where the character is introduced and we will know who are the characters in the story, where it happened, and when it happened. The next one is rising action. In rising action, the main character is in crisis, and events leading up to facing the conflict begin to unfold. The story becomes complicated. So, in rising action, this is where the problems starts to appear and the characters' lives are going to be difficult. The third one is the climax. So at the peak of the story, a major event occurs in which the main character faces a major enemy, fear, challenge, or other source of conflict. The most action, drama, change, and excitement occurs here. So, for example, in the movie, this is where the protagonist is going to be kidnapped by the antagonist. Yes, when the protagonist is being taken away by force, or someone is being killed in the character, yes, that's when the main problem of the story occurs. That's where the climax is. Falling action. So the story begins to slow down and work towards its end, tying up loose. So this is now like the story started to solve the problem, like the criminal now is being caught and put into prison. And then the last one is the resolution. So this is also known as the denouement. So the resolution is like a concluding paragraph that resolves any remaining issues and ends the story. So basically this is like the details on how they solve the problem and who are going to pay for that, who are the characters that will face their consequences because of their bad doings in the whole story. So this is now the resolution happens. So now let's proceed to our story. But before we are going to read our story, these are the questions that we are going to answer at the end of the story. So, first, who are the characters in the story? Next, who amongst the characters that you hate the most? Third, if you were Mathilde, what would be your reaction upon hearing that the necklace that you lost 10 years ago was faked? Fourth, what are you going to do after learning about it? Fifth, do you know someone who is ambitious like Mathilde? Sixth, what lesson can we get from the story? So those are the questions that we need to answer at the end of the story. And of course, in the story, there are, especially if it's a new one that we haven't read before, there are words that we don't know. Like, we don't know its meaning. We don't know what they mean. So before we are going to proceed to the story, we are going to unlock some difficult words first. Now, I'm going to give you a sentence and you're going to tell me the meaning of the words by looking at the sentence. Okay? So the first word is extravagant. She always sent extravagant gifts to her daughter. So by looking at the sentence, what does extravagant mean? Yes, that's right, Sweetie. Very good, Sweetie. Let's give Sweetie a round of applause, everyone. So extravagant means spending money carelessly, foolishly, and uncontrolled. She is always sending gifts, expensive gifts to her daughters. That's the other sentence. And then the next one is modest. Mia found it challenging to find a prom dress that met her modest standard. So, what do you think is the meaning of modest in this sentence? By looking at the sentence, Mia found it challenging to find a prom dress that met her modest standards. Yes, Sweetie, very good. Not excessive or just simple dress. And the next one is jewel. He spent important money on a small jewel for his wife. So by looking at the sentence, what do you think is the meaning of jewel? Yes, jewel is a precious stone. So the next one is necklace. She pulled the necklace from her neck. Of course. Yes, very good, everyone. We know what is necklace. So the next word is implore. When one issues a report, one implores the public to read it. So by looking at the sentence, what does implore mean? Yes, Anna, very good. To beg. When one issues a report, one begs the public to read it. So the next one is intoxicated. He rapidly became intoxicated with his own power. So by looking at the sentence, what does intoxicated mean? Yes, Michael? Okay. Yes, intoxicated means very excited. So he rapidly became excited with his own power. Very good. So the next one is dozing. She was dozing by the time he finished and nudged her awake. So by looking at the sentence, what does dozing mean? Yes, Sweetie? Sleeping? Yes, half asleep. Dozing means half asleep. So she was half asleep by the time he finished and nudged her awake. So now finally, let's go to our story. Okay, are you ready? Everyone's ready? Okay, please listen to me carefully because I am going to ask questions every now and then, okay? Okay. Since I already sent you this story, I want you to read it with your eyes also while I read the story, okay? Just follow me, okay? Okay, good. So now let's start our story. Mathilde Loisel is pretty and charming, but feels she has been born into a family of unfavorable economic status. She was married off to a lowly clerk in the Ministry of Education, who can afford to provide her only with a modest, though not uncomfortable lifestyle. Mathilde feels the burden of her poverty intensely. She regrets her lot in life and spends endless hours imagining a more extravagant existence. While her husband expresses his pleasure at the small, modest supper she had prepared for him, she dreams of an elaborate feast served on fancy china and eaten in the company of wealthy friends. She possesses no fancy jewels or clothing, yet these are the only things she lives for. Without them, she feels she is not desirable. She has one wealthy friend, Madame Forestier, but refuses to visit her because of the heartbreak it brings her. So, what is the job of Mathilde's husband? Yes, very good, sweetie. A lowly clerk in the Ministry of Education. So, what was the reason why Mathilde doesn't want to visit her rich friend? Yes, Anna? Could be. Okay, very good. She might, she, she might, feel embarrassed of her kind of lifestyle now, and she might feel envious of what her friend have at the moment, which the things that she can't have. She might feel jealous. That's why she does not want to visit her friend. Yes, very good. So one night, her husband returns home proudly, bearing an invitation to a formal party hosted by Ministry of Education. He hopes that Mathilde will be thrilled with the chance to attend an event of this sort. But she is instantly angry and begins to cry. Through her tears, she tells him that she has nothing to wear, and he ought to give the invitation to one of his friends whose wife can afford better clothing. Her husband is upset by her reaction and asks how much a suitable dress would cost. She thinks about it carefully and tells him that 400 francs would be enough. Her husband quietly balks at the sum but agrees that she may have the money. So what did Mathilde's husband brought when he returns home? Very good, Anna, an invitation. An invitation to a formal party hosted by the Ministry of Education. So what was Mathilde's reaction when she received the invitation? Just right. You're right, Michael. She was upset. She was angry. So why did Mathilde cry when she learned about the party? Yes, sweetie. She was upset because she thought what sort of dress she's going to wear. She has nothing. And then as the day of the party approaches, Mathilde starts to behave oddly. She confesses that the reason for her behavior is her lack of jewels. Monsieur Loisel suggests that she wear flowers, but she refuses. He implores her to visit Madame Forestier and borrow something from her. Madame Forestier agrees to lend Mathilde her jewels, and Mathilde selects a diamond necklace. She is overcome with gratitude at Madame Forestier's generosity. So, what did Mathilde's husband suggest to wear instead of jewelry? Yes, sweetie. He suggested that Madame Loisel will wear flowers instead of jewelry. So who lent Mathilde the jewelry to wear to the party? That's right, Madame Forestier, her friend. Very good. At the party, Mathilde is the most beautiful woman in attendance, and everyone notices her. She is intoxicated by the attention and has an overwhelming sense of self-satisfaction. At 4 a.m., she finally looks for Monsieur Loisel, who has been dozing for hours in a deserted room. She finally looks for Monsieur Loisel, who has been dozing for hours in a deserted room. He cloaks her by her shoulders in a wrap and cautions her to wait inside, away from the cold night air, while he fetches a cab. But she is ashamed at the shabbiness of her wrap and follows Monsieur Loisel outside. They walked for a while before hailing a cab. So, who was the most beautiful woman at the party? Yes, that's right, Madame Loisel. So what does her husband do? What did her husband do while she enjoyed the party? Yeah, her husband was dozing off in the deserted room. So when they finally return home, Mathilde is saddened that the night has ended. As she removes her wrap, she discovers that her necklace is no longer around her neck. In panic, Monsieur Loisel goes outside and retraces their steps. Terrified, she sits up and waits for him. He returns home much later in an even greater panic. He has not found the necklace. He instructs her to write to Madame Forestier and say that she has broken the clasp of the necklace and is getting it mended. So what do you think happened to the necklace? Yeah, she might have lost it when she was at the party dancing. So what did they say to the owner of the necklace? That's right, they lied, telling the owner that the clasp is broken and they have to fix it before returning it. They continue to look for the necklace. After a week, Monsieur Loisel says they have to see about replacing it. They visit many jewelers searching for a similar necklace and finally find one. It costs 40,000 francs. Although the jeweler says he will give it to them for 36,000. The Loisels spend a week scrapping up money from all kinds of sources, mortgaging the rest of their existence. After 3 days, Monsieur Loisel purchases the necklace. When Mathilde returns the necklace, in its case, to Madame Forestier, Madame Forestier is annoyed at how long it had taken to get back, but does not open the case to inspect it. Mathilde is relieved. So did they found the necklace? No. They bought a new one. So how much does it cost to replace the necklace? Yes, it was 40,000 francs, but the jeweler gave it for 36,000 francs only. So the Loisels began to live a life of crippling poverty. They dismissed their servant and moved into an even smaller apartment. Monsieur Loisel works 3 jobs. Can you imagine that? And Mathilde spends all her time doing the heavy housework. This misery lasts 10 years. But at the end, they have repaid their financial debts. Mathilde's extraordinary beauty is now gone. She looks just like the other women of poor households. They are both tired and irrevocably damaged from these years of hardship. How much does the life of the Loisels change after they lost the necklace? Yes, sweetie? Very good, sweetie. Yes, their life changed a lot from middle class to poor. So how long did it last? Yes, Michael. It lasted for 10 years. So one Sunday, while she is out for a walk, Mathilde spots Madame Forestier. Feeling emotional, she approaches her and offers greetings. Madame Forestier does not recognize her, and when Mathilde identifies herself, Madame Forestier cannot help but exclaim that she looks different. Mathilde says that the change was on her account and explains to her the long saga of losing the necklace, replacing it, and working for 10 years to repay the debts. At the end of her story, Madame Forestier clasps her hands and tells Mathilde the original necklace was just costume jewelry and thus not worth anything. So, why did Madame Forestier didn't recognize Mathilde? Yes, she did not recognize Mathilde because of the change, because of how Madame Mathilde looks now. So what was Madame Forestier's reaction when Mathilde told her that they replaced the necklace with the real one? Yes, Anna, she was shocked. So you remember that I gave you questions before reading the story? Okay, so let's answer those questions since we are done reading our story. So, who are the characters in the story? Yes, sweetie, very good. The characters are Madame Loisel, Monsieur Loisel, and Madame Forestier. Yes, very good. So, who amongst the characters that you hate the most? Okay, Anna. Oh, you hate Madame Loisel. Why? Because she's not contented of what she have, and she turned her life into that's a big word, a living hell. So if you were Mathilde, what would be your reaction upon hearing that the necklace that you lost 10 years ago was faked? What would be your reaction? Yes, sweetie? Yes. You will be shocked as well, and you are going to think about all the hardship that you experienced in that 10 years because of that necklace. So what are you going to do after learning about it? If you were Mathilde, what are you going to do? you going to take back the necklace? Yes, Anna. So if Madame Forrester will give back the necklace, you are going to get it back and then sell it? Good. So do you know someone who is ambitious like Mathilde? Yeah. Okay. So what lesson can we get from the story? Yes. Yes, Michael? Okay. So accept or be contented. Okay, be contented of what you have. So, which part of the story does exposition can be found? Yes, very good, sweetie. Set in Paris, France in 1880, a young middle-class woman named Mathilde dreams of a lifestyle far beyond her reach. One day, her husband comes home with tickets to attend to a very affluent party, and she is excited to attend but upset that she will look dowdy. So when can we find the conflict of the story? Yes, Anna. Very good. So the conflict happens when Mathilde Loisel is not wealthy yet. She dreams to be. Her husband gives her money to buy a dress, but she is not satisfied until she asks a wealthy friend for a necklace to borrow. So what is rising action? What is the rising action in the story? Yes, Anna? Again? Very good. So, at the ball, Madame Loisel is a hit, but the necklace goes missing. After days of searching, she and her husband decide to replace it with a one that looks identical. The replacement costs more money than they make, and it takes them 10 years to pay it off. So, what happened when the story reached its climax? Michael? Very good. So, after 10 years of hard work and struggles, the couple pays off all their debts. So, what happens in the following action? Yes, sweetie. Very good. So one day, Mathilde is walking to the market and sees that friend that she borrowed the necklace from, and she decides to tell her what happened. So, where can we find the resolution? What is the resolution? Yes, very good, sweetie. The friend, Madame Forrester, tells Mathilde that the necklace was false, a fake. The reader is left contemplating the irony of the situation. So the resolution is when Madame Forrester told Mathilde that the necklace she borrowed 10 years ago was faked. Okay, now, since we are done reading our story and you have learned about the plot in each element. I am going to give you a quiz. So what will you do is that you are going to type your answer using your Microsoft Word in your tablet or phone, and after I will give you enough time to answer, and after answering it you are going to send it directly to me. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes, no, I will give you 15 minutes to answer this. Okay, so the first question is, explain the definition of plot and each type. Okay, and the next one is, compose a plot of your own story and be creative as possible. And this is how you are going to be graded with your by composing a plot of your own story. This is how you are going to be graded. So we have here the quality of writing. Expert, which your score will be 4 points. So piece was written in an extraordinary style and voice, and very informative and well organized. And 3 points if it's accomplished, when the piece was written in an interesting style and voice, and somewhat informative and organized. And 2 if you are capable, if your piece had little style or voice and give some new information but poorly organized. And 1 point if you are a beginner, like if your piece had not style or voice and gives no new information and very poorly organized. The next one is grammar and usage. You will be given 4 points if you virtually know spelling, punctuation or grammatical errors. 3 points if few spelling and punctuations errors, minor grammatical errors, and 2 points if you have a number of spelling, punctuation or grammatical errors, and 1 point if you have so many spelling, punctuation and grammatical errors that it interferes with the meaning. So, are we clear? Do you have any questions? Yes, your answer, you are going to send it to me after you're answering. I will give you 15 minutes only, okay? Okay, after 15 minutes, you have to finish or not finish, you are going to send it, okay? On my email. You have my email account. You have my email already. Okay, very good. So 15 minutes is out. Are you guys done? Okay, you're done. Class, are you done? Okay, very good. Okay, I have it here already. Anna, are you done? Okay, sorry, it's here already. Okay, very good, everyone. So for your assignment, you have to read the story of Damien's Succulent Breakfast Fiesta by Anthony Gerard Oduhan. Yes, Damien's Succulent Fiesta by Anthony Gerard Oduhan. And identify what is the exposition, conflict, rising action, falling action, and resolution of the story. Okay? Do you have any questions? Violent reaction? Just kidding. Do you have any question? Okay, so okay, we are done for today. See you tomorrow, class. Okay, thank you and bye-bye.